You put the hair out.
I just like that. What are they called?
Hats.
No.
So not hats.
This is gonna be a show.
This is gonna be a show. There you go, man.
About today.
Oh, we got a lot to talk about. Just did you hear the news?
Yeah,
Yeah. What about it?
it was pretty crazy that happened.
What's that?
What was in the news?
Oh yeah, terrible, tragic.
You want me to move?
Move where? Yeah, come over close to the middle, just for the shot. Just for the shot. While no one's here, we gotta be ready for when they do get here. Everyone's coming today.
What's good? What's good?
Messi's coming.
I'm on
Since he
mine.
lost yesterday, he's got time. He's got time out of his week to come visit us.
So when I was watching, you can hear them argue in Spanish.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I saw your tweet. Yeah. Tell me about
On TikTok today, I saw 2 TikToks of what they were really saying. It was PK really kind of getting angry. Old man PK.
that.
Ah,
Yeah.
Nico.
Nico, we're talking about yesterday's Champions League.
Yeah,
Go ahead. So yeah, they are talking. So Armand's talking about this commentary from the players.
yeah.
It got translated on TikTok. He said.
It was PK was getting angry. Yeah, he did. I think it was he did get his butt kicked. It's like showing that how he's old and he should have been done 5 years ago.
Sorry,
I don't know.
2017. 2017. High
Lord.
hopes.
Basically, okay, Nico, I wasn't planning on regurgitating this information because I kind of forgot it. But basically, he was just throwing out the F word, saying no one's running. Then Griezmann's like saying I'm running, and they're just going back and forth. And it was during a corner kick. But you can tell PK was angry. PK was just, but
Yeah, it was a. They got the back line got destroyed yesterday. How could you not be pissed? That game was just frustrating from top to bottom. You know why? Because PSG was passing the ball better. They were shooting the ball better. They were ball possession was a lot better. It was just all around. It was a whoop ass or ass whooping, whoop ass.
yeah.
Mbappe did that
It's
yesterday.
funny. I think my dad's always said PK was slow. That's just what he said. Like this was 5-7 years ago, and Nico's saying he's been saying it's overrated.
You know how good you were when you didn't even possess the ball more than the team that you beat by 3 goals. That's how you know how good you play.
You're right, Nico. He is a poop face, but he's very, very good. He's always been very, very good.
I'm fine with Sergio Ramos. I got nothing against Sergio Ramos.
Yes, his a little dirty-ish play with Salah in that Champions League final, but I mean that's been Ramos's game. I feel like, but that's his position, right? He's that He's supposed to be that star defender, and if you're the star main Spanish defender, you gotta be defending those star offensive players. You know
Right.
what I mean?
I want to go back to this game because I want to touch on something but I want to talk about also. Did you watch the Liverpool game? We touched on
I
it.
just saw the score because the other game was on.
Played in Hungary.
Yeah, played in Hungary. We found that out because of Germany's restrictions for England for their new COVID strand.
They didn't have any trouble though. It looked like they did not have any trouble.
Liverpool.
No, playing because remember we talked about they had a rough few last week, couple of weeks, but they picked back up. Didn't have any trouble playing against the German team.
The problem was I felt bad for Leipzig because they were supposed to be home and they weren't at home, and I kind of feel like that's punishing them for. I don't know. The German government was trying to punish the English government, but then the English soccer team basically says, "Okay, we're not gonna give this German soccer team a home game."
Right.
You know what I mean? So
that's fine. It's what we expected though. Liverpool was supposed to win that game either way.
You know what's great about Champions League round of 16? It's Wednesday, so we got 2 more games today.
Yeah, we got Sevilla and Dortmund, and Porto and Juventus. That's gonna be fun to watch. Quick though, we are talking about the young goats, not goats yet, young calves, I guess you could say. Funky.
Oh, good. We got
good.
A group in here.
Raj.
We got a group in here.
Raj.
We can start it.
Raj, thank you so much. That's exactly where I was going to ask you, man. Today we get to watch Osaka and Serena Williams.
Yes.
Yesterday we got to watch Mbappe and Messi.
Ooh.
We haven't even talked about Mbappe yet and where his legacy is at so
I
young.
didn't even think about that.
We're
Can
today,
I write it down?
Yeah. That's why we got the
three
whiteboard.
Passing of the torches in February. Huh?
Sorta, yes, sorta.
Can I start with the one we don't like? But
Yeah.
I feel like
The passing of the torches in February. We're starting to see everything's starting to have turnover.
right. We had this one, right? I know we didn't.
Cousin Steffi, could you not see us before?
Right. This was the first.
Don't worry, I didn't forget what we have to do today. We just got started off on a hot note with some sports.
I'm sorry.
There you go.
And what was yesterday?
Aw, thank you. Yep. And then what's tonight at 9 o'clock? Feeling good on a Wednesday, yeah.
So Raj said passing of the torch, huh?
Yeah. His words, not mine.
Here we go.
And that was perfect because he was. It's like you read my mind, Raj. That's why I wanted to go back to it.
Mm-hmm.
Armand,
Well, okay. Well, what we know how the first one was. Yesterday was Messi and Mbappe, right?
and it looked like the first one, except the other way
It looked
around.
like the first one, except other way around. Messi gets to the first, right? He kicks that penalty kick. If he called that PSG didn't like. But then Mbappe, 5-6 minutes later, a little short. I
Yeah,
don't know how
literally
much,
right
5-6
afterwards.
minutes later,
Might have been
he
2
scores,
minutes.
and when he scored, he didn't look like a guy younger than us. I was like, this man wants to win the game.
His third goal.
And then he had a hat trick. And that was all without Neymar. Which some people said, what if that helped PSG? Because remember what we talked about Messi and Di Maria, when that kind of hurt Messi when Di Maria wasn't there?
Mhm.
Well, what if Mbappe without Neymar helps Mbappe because he gets all the shots? Again, those are two groups of different position play. I mean,
Right? No.
Not
I see what you're
exactly
saying, though. No, I see what
and
you're saying.
maybe this is a conversation that not everyone of us, and not even us. But then we have the last one, what we wanted to talk about, right? Williams Osaka.
Yep.
Passing of the torch. What do we want?
No, it's just tonight. We
Sorry, I
could
was
see.
reading your mom's comment.
What'd she say? What did she say? Yeah, Mom forgot to leave her toot at home.
Okay.
She forgot whose house she walked in today.
So we want to talk about Serena Williams, Naomi Osaka, right? If you guys didn't know, Australian Open.
Good morning, Mr.
Good
Martin.
morning, Mr.
We have to
Martin.
take time to say good morning.
Yeah, we have to take time to say good morning.
Good morning, good sir.
We hope you're staying warm with that Kansas weather in Texas, right? It's
Oh
pretty
my
cool.
gosh, yes, dude! I was watching a Twitter video today. Someone had posted a thread on Twitter about their experience of living in Texas, being in Texas right now, and it's really no joke because I guess insulation in the homes is not fit. They weren't prepared for the cold weather that we're getting.
Yeah, they aren't used to like this cold. I
No.
would assume.
Oh, it's crazy. So like I was watching the video, and I guess water had sucked through the house, like gotten inside. You know, it was melting, I guess, with the sun out. But like water was coming through the ceilings from the floor above them. It was just look. Yeah, Nico's down in Texas. I could say he's down in
Yeah.
Texas. I won't say where he's at in Texas, but he's down there too. Yeah, he's.
Oh,
It's- Right now, we're in the same country, but every part of the U.S. feels like a different world, man. Each one is having like their own version of just.
Of Apocalypse 2020.
I didn't want to say it, but you know, maybe it wasn't 2012. Maybe it was supposed to be 2021, and they had accidentally flipped the numbers. Stuff like that can happen.
You know, I saw this tweet. Again, I gotta stop getting my information from Twitter and TikTok. But I saw it last year that the Mayans were 8 years when they did their calculation. They were actually 8 years off because they meant for it to be 8 years off. So when they said 2012, they meant 2020.
Yep.
And I was really scared about 2012. I'm not gonna lie. I was there December 12th posting on Facebook. Was it December 12th?
December 21st. Yeah, 2012.
Winter? Yeah, that's.
See, maybe February 12th, 2021 was actually supposed to be the day. No, but why we got a full room now? It is someone's birthday today. I do believe one of our viewers.
We'll talk about tennis later.
We'll talk about it right after. We have some commitments that we have to fulfill
You're right.
today.
right.
We have our interview with Clayton Giltner of Giltner Productions, our LA fan. So we'll get to talk someone out on the West Coast. We could talk about some of his movies that he put out. He directed and wrote and starred in one of his pieces that he made during the pandemic about the Spanish flu.
Yeah.
We learned a little bit more about that, so we'll talk to him about that.
Any questions you guys have for this guy, movie or not? Really?
Yes.
We just want to find this new friend of ours, see what he's passionate about. We know all of our passions. That's kind of what I was thinking, right?
And you know what? He found us on Twitch. Took the time to come out and message. He wanted to be on, and we were like, yeah, hey man, we'll love to bring you on and talk with you. So we're gonna talk to him at 11 o'clock our time, 9 o'clock for cousin Steffi out there. Mom, his name is Clayton Giltner. I've told you this like 500 times already. You've even Googled him. You can go into the history, right? You can go into your phone history and find the searches. You've already been on his website and LinkedIn, I feel like.
Yeah, I was on his LinkedIn today.
She's always like, what's his name? What's his name? Just go look in your history. You'll find it. It's all in there. You've done the pre-stalking. You have in your Facebook search history too. I know that as well because you looked him up on Facebook right in front of me. There we go. Yeah, Renee's got Dory's memory. It's all right. That's why she has 4 children to help remind her when she forgets those things. It's all right. Clayton Giltner, add a U with that I. You'll have plenty of time to talk to him today. We'll talk to him in about 40 minutes or so. But first, I think we have to sing a song, don't we?
I think you said we need to sing a song, and we better sing the song quick because the comments are rolling.
I know. Cousin Steffi, good old cousin Steffi out there in San Diego. She's enjoying the beach weather. What are you doing today, cousin Steffi? What's the birthday plans? Happy birthday to you.
Happy birthday, cousin Steffi.
All right, can we get a tune? Go.
Yeah.
Feliz cum. Oh no, we did the wrong way. We messed up. It's
Cumpleaños
Yeah,
Cumpleaños
feliz. Cumpleaños feliz. Cumpleaños, cousin Steffi. Cumpleaños feliz. Blow out a candle. She got looks like a facial at 10 o'clock. She is treating herself today. I love it.
As she should. The big birthday. Nice recovery. Thanks, Nico.
But anyway, so tonight at 9 o'clock.
To tennis.
Yeah, no, we got. Oh, hello, Miss Martin.
Frozen Texas.
Frozen
Hi, Mrs.
Texas.
Martin. We hope you're staying warm.
Yes. You and Mr. Mitchell.
Yeah.
Mr. Martin.
Mr. Mitchell.
Mr. Mitchell Martin.
We had 2 bits of
Mr.
coffee
Mitch
already.
Martin.
We even said it's that Kansas weather in Texas.
Mm-mm.
It really is.
Yes. It's very cool.
Even though it's still really cold here. We got colder than usual. But I think in like a few weeks it's going to be back to 30, 40 degrees.
Well, let's check out the Kansas City weather.
I mean, as you would expect, right? It's freezing and then it's going to go back to normal winter.
So tomorrow it looks like it's supposed to be 21 degrees. Interesting. Are we supposed to be getting more
There he is.
rolling blackouts?
Skip! Skip!
T-Mobile Terrell tuning in from work today.
We got a lot of people tuning in today. They want to hear.
They want to
hear about tennis.
They want to hear about tennis. They don't want to hear. Yeah, they're tired about hearing about the cold weather. That's why we get the coffee. We warm up. Wear the extra layers.
Yeah, drinking Terrell Keurig Anderson's coffee.
So Australian Open, we got semifinals tonight.
Yeah, so
In case you guys haven't noticed or known, it's 9 o'clock Central.
yeah, Australian Open. On the women's side, it's the semifinals. Actually, both sides semifinals. But Serena Williams, Naomi Osaka. We talked about the passing of the torch. Raj had mentioned that. We got a big Osaka fan in the comments. We had the Brady Mahomes at the start of the month, and we talked about that a lot.
Yep.
We had Messi and Mbappe yesterday.
And we'll get it again.
Untalked about passing of the torch. Again, in a different sport that we're going to get a lot, but still, that is as passing of the torch as these other two. Then Serena Williams, Naomi Osaka. Serena Williams, just by the numbers, she has 23 Grand Slams.
Yeah.
Only one less than the all-time man or woman. and this was someone from before the Open era, so from before the '60s. So old tennis. That's the only person who has who has won more than Serena. Just one more Grand Slam. So Serena is the GOAT in that sport. It might be not just women's tennis, might be both. And I'm okay with taking that argument.
Mm-hmm.
I'm okay with saying she's one of the best tennis players of all time, regardless of male or
Yeah.
Then going
Across
against
all
a girl
stages.
from Japan, Naomi Osaka from Japan, has that Japanese name, but she grew up in the States.
The Kobe Bryant prodigy.
She grew up in the States,
Yep,
right? And
yep.
she's now Nike's big star. Why? Because she's got Margaret Court. Yeah, that's her name, Rajat. Osaka's got, I think, 3 Grand Slam titles. She's our age. All
Mhm.
these stars are our age now. She's 22, I think 23. Already has the 3 titles and is in the semifinals already. Has made a big name of herself this year, but I've known her before. We've known her before. She beat Williams in the U.S. Open a few years ago, where everyone in the crowd starts booing. And Serena Williams has to take the mic and say, hey, why are you guys booing?
It's like Beyonce and T Swift at the MTV Awards. Nah, it's what it was. It really was something like that. Except there was no Kanye to, instigate it.
And the big thing we were talking about, we know maybe there aren't a lot of big tennis fans, but I think a lot of us here have a I don't know, affinity.
How about
for
this?
sports. Okay.
There may not be a lot of tennis fans here, but everyone's got a passion, and these people have a strong passion for what they do, and it shows. And they make sure that they have that Mamba mentality. I'm leaving the best legacy that I can leave, and it shows. And it's kind of crazy now seeing it, looking at the whiteboard. That's in February, man.
You're exactly right, because these are all-time great versus the new guy. All-time great versus the new guy. All-time great versus the new girl. And,
Nico wants to be known that Cristiano Ronaldo is the GOAT, though.
well, we can ignore comments. You can remember that.
Yes, we can.
I don't want to get stuck. But the thing about Osaka is this. The reason I want to say passing the torch when we want to talk about passing the torch, this is a very important match in the sport. Osaka, I said, already has the 3. We looked up Serena Williams' record against other tennis players. And this was from an article in 2018. But there's only 2 tennis players who have beaten Serena more than once and have a winning record against her. I forgot the names. One was both were early on in the first decade of Serena's career, and one actually had a few Grand Slam titles, like 3, but the other didn't. Only beat Serena, was 2-0 against Serena. Beat her the 2 times she met her. She met with her. Osaka and Williams are 2-2. If Osaka wins, she's going to join that list, and then she's going to reach another Grand Slam final. If she wins a Grand Slam final this year, she's going to join Serena Williams and then this Belgian tennis player as the only female tennis player since 1997 to have 4 consecutive years where they won a Grand Slam title. That might just seem like a lot of words in a Sports Center stat, and I get that. But basically what I'm trying to say is this. She isn't just a good tennis player. She could be the next up. And she has every right to be the next up as any of these other young athletes.
Mm-hmm.
She's a young star. She's a young star who won early, who had some run-ins with the GOAT, right? But won early and is trying to see if she can still keep winning, keep that torch, or maybe the old person, the old star still has it, right?
Yep.
Maybe the young star prevails and says, I'm going to act like I'm playing like I've played this sport for 10 years. Not that I look 10 years old, but I've played for a whole decade.
And she's already got 6 WTA titles, but 3 major.
3
like you said,
titles.
3.
Those are what matter, but it's her time to shine. In a sport, in tennis, on the men's side, we've seen a historical a dominance of 3 guys, right? The 3 big goats, right? Djokovic, Federer, Nadal. On the women's side, other than the Williams sisters and a few years, it's only been a lot of turnover. And Osaka's trying to show that she can still be there. I know I'm rambling.
No, this is great. I'm looking at. I found the article that you sent me yesterday about the rivals.
Well, 9 p.m. I think it's going to be ESPN. If you like sports or you're interested in this matchup, I'm excited for it. I am.
Who do you think's gonna win?
I think Osaka will win. I think she'll get it done. Williams, it looks like she's been playing well. I've just been following the scoreline, but Osaka is like really, really good. And over the last year, for what she's done off the tennis court, people have started finding out about her.
Mhm.
And then people finding out that she's dating a rapper, YBN Corday, who's now known as Corday,
Mhm.
who's not part of the YBN group.
Isn't he
But
putting out an album soon?
I think so. I think Torella told us that.
He
But
did tell us that.
the thing is, she is not just known as that, she is her own person. And not just her own person. I think she's Nike's, on the female side, she's Nike's #1 athlete. This big brand. I think she's their #1. So that's how good she is.
Here's what I want to ask you. You know the answer. Why? She had a chance. The U.S. had a chance to kind of land her as far as recognition to where Olympics. When the Olympics start, she's not going to be representing the U.S. of A. Right.
Yeah, she represents Japan, and her name Osaka. And I got this from the great old Wikipedia a long time ago. So take it as you want. But she moved here when she was 3, like a lot of people who were born in a different country. Osaka, that's one of the very populated cities in Japan. I had just found out. But apparently, she was trying to get. She was like one of those young tennis players, and she was trying to be part of the U.S., but represent the U.S. in athletics.
Yeah.
But according to Wikipedia, blah, 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 her parents decided that their daughters would represent Japan. And they decided that at an early age. Her culture has been, she's been raised in Japanese and Haitian culture from her parents. And Wikipedia goes on to say this decision may have been also motivated by lack of interest from the U.S. Tennis Association until she was 16.
So they didn't see talent until she was pretty much already like 6 years away from where she is now. 6 years,
Well,
8 years.
16 right now. She's 23, and
7
she
years.
won her first thing in 2018. Right, so she was she was still 20.
Wow.
She beat Serena, won her first thing, a Grand Slam final, the U.S. Open. So that's
incredible.
not just one first thing. And Raj, you were talking about Sharapova. It's kind of similar to Sharapova, right? Someone who probably is, you could consider American and grew up in America,
Yep.
but represents her heritage country, right? Her represents that, not her new country, for whatever reason it is. I like it because it can it could create a rivalry for that next American. If it's a Coco Gauff or someone who's already won something. Coco Gauff, I think, is 16 or 17. So she's still got a way to go.
But she does have a Williams win underneath her belt, correct?
Did she beat?
In the quarterfinals?
I can't remember which Williams she beat. Hey, you're right.
Oh,
Steffi,
Venus. She did beat. You know what? I'm
I
gonna
think
double
it was
check
Venus.
myself.
I think you are right. And Raj, you're right. Graf, of course, is a little before. And Sharapova was there, had that rivalry with Williams. Like people want to say rivalries that aren't really rivalries. Serena still got the best of them. And she's won those 23 in the last 20 years. So you're right. It is very hard for someone to pop up. And the people have popped up with like 3 Grand Slams, but very little have had 4 who were not named Williams. Serena was so good that I think her sister was known as the up-and-comer.
Yeah,
And
which
she
was older.
surpassed her.
Venus lost to Coco. In fact, in Coco's Australian Open debut, she was just 15 years old. Beat her in 3 set. Beat her 2-3.
Yeah.
2 out of 3 sets. Excuse me.
She's still very young, so like she's got a lot of ways to go. But a lot of tennis people think she's very, very like she's looking like one of those stars.
It's incredible.
And I think it'll be great because Osaka's 23, and hopefully she's got a career ahead of her. Gauff, what'd you say, 16?
Yeah, probably 16, 17 now
could be
because
something. And then there's a lot of players that I understand we didn't name, and we aren't the most brushed up on tennis. But the fact of the matter is, this is a match that I think is going to be really exciting. We spend a lot of time talking about tennis, but
there's a lot to be said about today. Well, in about the month of February.
And I think that's cool that I really didn't think about this passing of the torch thing.
That is well, Raj.
It really is. It's actually nearly identical. The matchups.
It really is, and I'm trying to see. Juventus plays Porto today. There's no one. Okay, so I'm thinking Ronaldo versus. I don't really know who's on Porto anymore.
But that's not the same.
Not the same. Yeah, you're right. Not the same because There's only one Mbappe in the world right now.
And the thing is with all these young stars is that they have already won something before this. World Cup already won, right? Grand Slams already won, but not as much. Not as much trophies, although he never got a World Cup.
Right.
Not as much Super Bowls, but already won a Super Bowl and MVP. So they're already making their mark at a legendary young rate. They're already making a legendary mark at a young age. But there's still one person that they need to live up to. Or Nico wants to say Ronaldo or whatever, and we know it's not as perfect, but I think it's a good way to put it like this. Again, I think 9 p.m. Good thing about the women's Grand Slams, unlike the men's, they don't add an extra set. So it's just best 2 out of 3. It could be an hour match. That's not bad. I think it'll be fun. Maybe a lot of grunting, but it'll be fun.
From you or the tennis players?
Yes.
Yes. Just yes. Armand's going to be sweating today.
Oh, Raj is right. Ronaldo and Holland.
Okay, there we go. So that's
That's,
something to look out for.
If that happens, Dortmund is actually playing today.
They are. Yeah, we talked about that. They played the first game, I believe,
Raj
today.
always picks up what we need. And then Nico will probably comment if he's in here.
They both play at 2:00.
Yeah, they do.
Sevilla.
I was looking them up. They seem like they're a good team. They got a Rakitic, and I think they got a good forward.
And a nice evenly matched
We'll see.
game on the pitch today.
You know what I like to see? Yesterday, Leipzig started an American, Tyler Adams. And today, Weston McKennie for Juventus, maybe he starts. And on Dortmund, maybe we get Gio Reyna.
When's
That'd be nice.
the next World Cup supposed to be?
2022, but in November.
What will that one? Think of that one right there. Think of that World Cup. Think of the stars on each country's team. I feel like I don't know. Something in my head just feels like each country has their own kind of star now.
They do, but remember, the World Cup is a little different. Egypt had maybe one of the top 5 stars last year, and I don't know if they even won a game.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yep.
They had Mo Salah. Sometimes it's not about that star. Norway's going to have Holland, and they got a couple young players. But we'll see. Can they live up to those teams that have a lot of up-and-coming or current stars? Like a France, a Germany who's trying to come back, a Spain, a Brazil, the usual giants? Or you're right, is it time for someone new? England kind of shocked their usual stuff last
and that's
year.
the one Nico kind of got me when that World Cup was going on. I was talking to him about it. I was like, because exactly, this team is shocking everyone right now. And he said they're a really good young team.
They are.
And the fact that they made it how far they did in the last World Cup just shows the mark that they could make in the next one.
I always thought England, the last few World Cups, had a lot. Thank you, Uncle Maury. There we go. Big spot.
Yeah, Sergino Dest. Nico wanted to point out there was
Sergino Dest. I'm sorry I forgot. Well, that's great. That's 4 Americans in the Champions League. But Nico, I think you are. I don't want to give you that credit, but I just will. I think you are right about England. It's like you might be living there, inshallah, soon. Who knows? But, I always thought England, the last decade, has had a lot of young talent, but they could never get it together as a team. And that's what I was afraid. Not afraid, actually. That's kind of what I'm hoping for U.S., that we're getting all this young talent. And it might take a few tournaments till finally England got 4th place, right?
Yeah.
Finally, U.S. can maybe come together. And that's that. I'm kind of seeing that resemblance just in the form of young talent. Thank you, Uncle Maury, for that. Yeah, we love.
Oh my God! It's almost like there was a manager in place that was already doing that kind of thing, and then got abruptly fired, and then America didn't make the World Cup.
I think he was starting that, right? He was getting maybe not the young guys in Europe, but he was getting those guys who've played in Europe who weren't good enough to play for Germany and those things. Belgium. You're right. Belgium may have had their chance. I remember some guys in my high school tried to say 2 World Cups. They were that dark horse.
Yep.
Where they beat U.S., right? Lost in the quarterfinals. And last World Cup maybe was their best chance. But now it's 8 years since they had all that talent. You're right, Nico. Maybe they missed their mark. But I don't know. I'm excited. I guess we can maybe start.
No, that
Belgium
Belgium team that beat the American team in Tim Howard's last World Cup. That was a team. That was a team with
De Bruyne. That was a young team.
Oh, De Bruyne. I forgot he was even on that team. Remember, Hazard was coming off the bench in that game.
They had what's his name? Didn't he play for Man U?
Afro.
Afro?
Yeah, Afro.
What happened to him? He was in one World Cup.
I don't know, but he was. They had company's not Belgium.
I think Company is Belgium.
So that back line.
Lukaku, I think, is Belgium. That's a good team. I mean, you're right.
No,
That's
exactly.
a lot of talent, but they're now on that older for
Yeah,
soccer.
exactly. Yeah, and that's what Nico was saying is that Belgium was getting up there in age.
And Raj mentioned a goalie. See, there's so many American players now. The goalie for Porto, Ethan Horvath.
Don't tell me there's no sports to watch after the football season's over. Do not tell me after Super Bowl Sunday that there is no sports to watch.
Again, Raj and Nico are just going back and back.
Yes, they also France was the dominant team in that World
But
Cup.
Croatia
They
took advantage of the opportunity of a lifetime within the lifetime of the opportunity.
Ooh.
Belgium did it. And let's see if they can do it this time. But Croatia did. They had a lot of talent for a couple World Cups, and finally they got it together. All the itches started itching. Rakitic, Mandzukic, right? The best one, Modric. They just got together, and Perisic.
Made
All the
something
itches.
special.
They did. And they played
Perisic. That was
really
a good
well.
play.
Remember, there was a penalty call, I think, early in the game.
That
In
kind
that World Cup final. It ended up 4-2, and France was a better team, but
You remember where you were for that World
World
Cup
Cup
final?
final?
Yeah. Were
oh,
you
yeah,
dad's
I watched
basement?
that. No, I watched I watched that at Johnny's with all these Persian men. That's where they would watch
Oh,
the
yeah?
Iran World Cup and watch with my dad. But yeah, that's where they watch the Iran games. But
Um,
that's where I was. Where were you?
We were in Colorado. We were on it was our first vacation to Colorado. We went to Buena Vista. It was a good time. Really good time. A very quaint town.
That was before
I
did a trip too, so that was kind of cool.
Yes. Yeah, for your New York trip.
No, that was actually before Sweden.
You went to Sweden?
You don't remember I went to Sweden? I didn't really tell anyone. I
No,
went to
you don't tell
Sweden.
anyone. You went to a Yankees game. You went to a Mets game. You went to Sweden. You took a picture with a Shark Tank.
As much as people think I like bragging, I'm not the biggest. I don't know.
So
I like
when
bragging
when
about my very, very small achievements.
was that summer before sophomore year?
No, this was summer after sophomore year.
Summer after sophomore year.
Yeah,
All
I
right.
went to Sweden. But I think I literally went the next day.
That's right. Me and Marty were living up here in Lawrence. We were the only two in the apartments for the connections.
Yeah.
We had a. That's when I remember now because we took 2 vacations that year. Went there and then
I took 2 vacations. Wow. Look
where'd
at
you go? Sweden
that. I had
and
to go to Colorado too.
look at
Yeah.
that. Look at that. Did you do some hiking as well? Up a
A
mountain?
little. I was with my mom, so you can guess how much hiking we did, but
Right.
not too much. But it's still a fun time. It was Breckenridge. I'd never been. It was during the summer. Really nice place. I really love Colorado.
Yeah.
Like I think it's a really. I've gone skiing there. I went there for a couple summers. I went there.
Do you
Spent
prefer
a
like
weekend there.
do you prefer like the snowy parts of Colorado? Like if you're
that's-
going to Colorado, do you want to ski? Do you
But
want
see,
to be in
I-
a cabin or do you want to be out walking around, exploring?
You know, I think I'm fine either exploring or skiing. I think I'm fine with either.
But which one would you rather do? I guess you could do both in Colorado. That's what's great about Colorado. Lily says some square dancing. I guess she
Yeah,
was
I don't
square
know what
dancing
she's
in Colorado
talking about.
when she went there.
Yeah, I guess you did some square dancing. Who knows?
Her and Catherine were square dancing.
Yeah,
her
you
and Catherine.
maybe. I don't know. I don't remember. What was your question?
Mountains are. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I guess
Oh,
in
yeah.
Colorado you can get
Listen,
both. You can go skiing,
listen.
sledding. You can do all
As
that.
unathletic as I am, I do love me some skiing.
Hey, there's some sports that take a little less athleticism.
No.
That's what's great
Skiing takes athleticism, and I don't know if the
Okay.
Martins are in here, but they are pros.
That's
on
right.
the
You told me
skis.
about that. when you guys
Mr.
went.
Martin, like this, he goes, and Mrs. I remember Marty was saying he's never seen his mom fall on skis, and I never. She wasn't falling. They were teaching me how to turn. I, of course, was the worst one there, but I got a lot better from them.
Look, as we're talking about this now, the moms are planning a KU Mamas and Boys reunion trip.
Really?
Look at that. We're going on tour with our moms.
We're going on tour.
We're gonna get 2 RVs and we're gonna go. The one's gonna have a horn that goes, and the other one's gonna go. There was a kid at high school who had that horn in his car.
That is funny. That is funny. Raj wants to know Champions League predictions. Actually, me and Ben Archaki do Champions League predictions on the Champions League.
I love it.
I think I picked Sevilla and Dortmund a tie 1-1, and Porto's gonna.
Only if you comb your hair.
2-0.
Only if you
I
cut
think.
my hair. Yes,
Coffee's on is going on the road.
live with our mamas. We will have a mamas
That would
episode.
be crazy. Coffee's on the road.
Oh yeah, if he's on the road.
Coffee's on the road.
Coffee's off the road.
We'd have to take a lot of bathroom breaks.
That's why there's bathrooms in the RV. Or yeah, an RV. Yeah, you've seen more than Millers. Then literally
Yeah.
RV with Robin Williams.
I think I've seen.
Remember he had
that
to empty
once in the airplane.
He had to do the sewer drainage and like
Yeah,
it,
again, I saw it in
it
the
combusted
airplane,
on
so I
him
know.
and it was a whole ordeal. But do you say 2-0 Dortmund today?
No, 1-1,
1-1.
and then 2-0 Juventus. I think that'll be a close game.
You know what?
No,
You know what frustrates me about Champions League in these early rounds?
What?
Away goals.
Away go. You don't like aggregate?
I like aggregate, but I don't like when the away goals play a factor into it. I was watching. Oh my god, something with away goals, man. I remember Barcelona lost on away goals, but they had tied on the aggregate, and I was like, "Oh yeah, PKs, we're going extra time, baby." And Nico's like, "No, the other team won." I'm like, "What are you talking about? It's tied. The aggregate is 3-3." He's like, "Yeah, but the other team has 2 away goals in Barcelona."
I think they should stop away goals when it gets to extra time. Those 30 minutes they have before PKs, because I think they still do away goals in that. And I
See,
think
that's just
fair.
not fair.
Well,
No.
I'm a big fan of away. I know a lot of people.
Because right there, that gives the away team more extra time than maybe in the first leg where the away team didn't have as
But
much
I'm
time.
still fine with that. Just if it's really tied on aggregate, then just do away with the away goals for those next 30 minutes.
Makes sense.
Should away goals be considered due to no fan? Honestly, maybe this time it shouldn't, and we'll see if that's going to be an argument. Watch Barcelona win 3-0 their next game, and it's tied 4-4. But because PSG had those 4 away goals, they go up. And then Barcelona's going to start the argument: away goals shouldn't be considered. We had no fans.
Mm.
Who knows? I feel like that's an argument waiting to happen. Also, I think Raj wants in on this Colorado Coffee's on.
That's all right. Yeah, he's coming on the road too.
That would be. We might get disconnected sometime in the road, but no, because
oh yeah, you're right.
your
Traveling through
Wi-Fi's
Western
in the road.
Kansas.
Western Kansas, you never know. It could be snowing somewhere in Ellsworth, Kansas, or Kobe, or
Ellis County.
Ellis, whatever the borders are.
Where did
You know what, Grace? What
Garden
freaked
City.
me out? There's so many Tesla chargers. There's so many electric car chargers just in the middle of the Kansas-Colorado border,
is there really?
like for the stops.
Hmm.
They already have that.
Well, it's because everything's moving to electricity.
Come
At
on,
some
Nico.
point, I think we're learning that now during
I'm
this
afraid to ask.
today afternoon.
I'm afraid to ask, but give it to me.
You mean you're afraid to answer, or afraid for him
No,
to
I'm
ask?
afraid to ask for him to give me the question.
Oh, I see. Don't let him know you're scared.
Fear.
Nico smells fear.
What did our friend say? What did Marty always say? Fear is temporary, or is it pain is temporary?
Pain is temporary.
Do you understand the relegation promotion works in the Premier League? Yes.
Oh,
Next question.
he's asking because of Ted Lasso. I may have like said I thought so. They're not in the Premier League still. Then
Who?
Ted
No.
Lasso's team.
Well, I don't want to say for those who still want to watch the show.
Damn. Yeah, we can't say.
Here's the answer.
How does it work?
How does promotion or relegation work? Nico, are you asking a genuine question, or are you laughing while asking this question? Because I can't tell.
He's being Nico right now.
Why? What happened?
Nothing happened. I made a comment and
About Armand's knowledge?
no, about a conversation we had. No, not about your knowledge at all. It was about me. It was about me being stupid.
Okay.
And you were in the room.
So it makes me look like I don't know what promotion relegation is. Is that what happened?
No. Of course he knows.
Okay, Nico, let me teach you how promotion relegation.
Marco misheard something.
See, he knows. Okay,
You see this?
I'll explain to you, Nico, because obviously you don't know how it works. You think Ronaldo's the GOAT, so that shows me something. You like the MLS. So when it comes to Premier League, really, you threw me under the bus. What'd you say?
It wasn't I threw you under the bus. I threw myself under the bus with you. I grabbed you and rolled, and we did a rollover underneath the car.
If you're going under the bus,
I said, here, Armand, come with me.
No, you're staying in, Nico. You're not leaving anywhere. You tell your boss.
I have to say it off air because it's Ted Lasso. It gets into the movie.
Okay.
But yeah, I said, hey, Armand.
Well, this is how
and we did a tuck and roll underneath the Nico Jeep.
Okay.
Okay, I did not set him up for failure. No,
Apparently you did.
I did not.
Okay, well,
He's
Nico,
just pulling your leg now.
Nico, let me teach you promotion and relegation. So, in terms of the Premier League, right? The bottom 3 teams at the end of the season are going to go down to the Championship. Okay, I know you don't know much about soccer. So
See,
in
that's what I
England,
misheard.
in
I didn't realize that was a thing.
the Championship, it goes Premier,
See,
Championship, League
I
One,
thought
League Two. That was even a joke.
I thought you meant they had to win the Premier League because you said championships. So I was like, oh, okay, they just got to win the Premier League.
He did that as a joke in Ted Lasso. That was part of the joke. I gotta say the joke. He was like, "Wait, you lose."
So
and
that's
go
what
into the
that's
championship?"
what I was saying. I was like, that's how I told him like that's how Armand explained it, but I'm like, I probably just misheard him.
No, I get it, Nico, because you just jumped on the bandwagon, so you don't know how the bottom of the table works. But those bottom 3 go down to the Championship, and then the Championship, the second division, the top 2 go up to Premier League, and then 3rd through 6th do a little play-in tournament, I believe, and the winner of that is going to go up and be promoted to Premier League, like Leicester City was 2 years before they won, or Leeds United was for the first time in a long time.
See,
And then that keeps continuing to League One, League Two. It might sometimes change where how many teams and how it works. And across Europe, it's kind of the same thing, Nico. So when you, inshallah, are traveling and visiting Europe and see these games, you can understand that a little more. Or I can come with you.
that's how you know Armand loves you is when he says the inshallah.
Into your
No, so what I told him, what I said was, yeah, I was like, I said, Armand said, win the championship, and so he was like, no, that's not how it works. They have to win and I was like, oh, I just misheard him. I thought he meant they had to win the league championship.
You were probably
And
on
he
your
was-
phone when I was telling you. No, that's fine. That's fine.
But yeah, Ted Lasso was a great. I'm glad Nico watched it. He was up till 4 a.m. watching it.
Wow.
You know who Nico is? Nico's the captain.
Which one? The hairy captain?
Shows no emotion.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be strong for my team.
I would think Nico is, what's his name? The young guy. My mom was like, is that meant to be Ronaldo? I think they meant for him to be Ronaldo.
Yeah.
What's his name? I forgot his name.
This is the one that got put Man City.
Yeah.
Traded
Now
to
you're
Man
just
City.
saying things about. So you guys better watch Ted Lasso. I know Nico did. Raj, I think you would like.
Yeah, we didn't give any spoiler alert, but
No.
spoiler alert. You may
Cousin
wanna-
Steffi, it's your birthday. You should try. I think Renee liked it. Your mom liked it, right?
Yeah,
Did Sam watch?
yeah. She loved it. It's Michael Jordan's birthday today. Wow.
Michael Jordan's birthday. I saw that on Twitter.
Jamie. Yep. Look.
Jamie Todd. Thank you, little. Jamie Todd. Way too early.
We'll hold on that. We'll hold on that because
Old.
Mom. Yeah, look, all caps. She loved it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, both of my parents. My mom really loved it too. It's a good show. Like I said, and even Terrell had even said, because he was talking about how much he loves Snowfall, which he said is his #1 show. I'll say it for him. He says everyone should watch. Nico, don't give your Apple TV login in the comments.
Just text it to her. Nico, you may not be smart, but
even Terrell had said, I said, Ted Lasso's pretty good. He even said that might be in his top 5. So if Terrell liked it, even though Marco had selective hearing while watching it, he even liked it.
just the ending.
And
I just heard they got to win the championship, and I was like, yeah.
Well,
Turns out it's not
part
called the Coca-Cola League anymore. It's been years since it's been called the Coca-Cola League, I guess.
Well, that was part of the joke, and it actually was kind of funny. Because he was like, how does sports in this country work if you lose and you're going down to the championship?
I just thought they meant that they had to win it or else they go down. I didn't know that it was called the Championship League, man. He said,
Nico,
nah, put it.
Nico, Raj needs your Apple TV.
Oh my gosh, that's funny.
Fun stuff.
All right, Raj, All-Star selection. I don't even. There shouldn't. How about this? There shouldn't even be an All-Star game.
Yeah, there shouldn't be an all-star game. I mean, why are they having one? Is it okay? The reason is I'm not saying this is the reason.
Let's try to find a reason other
Let's
than
say
money.
The reason is they need money, is there anything else they can do during these times? Because it doesn't seem like it's the right idea for. I'm not just even talking health safety, just because of health, for their league and for their season. If they want to continue canceling games, I feel like they don't want to cancel games. They don't want to keep postponing games. And now they had another variable with Dallas needing to cancel their game with the Pistons or postpone their game with the Pistons because of the weather. So not only do you have the still ongoing virus for them,
Ooh.
but also the weather. So I don't know. I don't know about All-Star game. I think we feel the same.
Here's my thing. Money. Yeah, I get it. Money. Everyone needs money, including the NBA for some reason. No, in fact, the NFL salary cap is dropping this year for like the first time in how long because of loss of money, loss of revenue, as the owners would tell you. But I just don't understand it because why risk your schedule like that? It could possibly lead to more postponements of games, rescheduling of games. We've already seen the NBA. We saw the NBA season get cut short last year when this whole thing started.
Mm-hmm.
Why would we? Why? I just don't see it as necessary, other than money. And I think the players see it as that too because they've spoken out about it. I think Kevin Durant that was one of the first ones to talk about
I
it.
think maybe it was Durant. And what's Draymond Green speaking up against now? And now LeBron.
He's speaking up against trades, people wanting trades. I think he called out James Harden for taking the easy road or something.
Well, okay, interesting. The thing is, what I'm surprised, I think even LeBron said he doesn't like the All-Star game. So when LeBron James says he doesn't like what the league... Oh, wow, look at that here. When LeBron James says he doesn't like what the league is doing, don't you think the league would listen? Holy moly.
The double standard for trade tension, that's what
I even
he's
had
talking
my
about.
mic on this whole time. Well, it's good because I know I need to get coffee.
Oh, well, what were you saying, though? You were about to go into a whole thing, and then you were like...
I don't think so. Should I have coffee or should I have tea?
He's just gone now. He went off the set. Mike's gone, coffee's gone. You were talking to Raj for a second. But Javon Green was ranting about the double standard for trade tension in the NFL, the NBA.
Apparently Coach O is in the Young Rock. I just read your ad, but I saw a video of it.
Reading my computer.
Yeah, it was. I saw it on.
Did you watch the Cruella trailer yet?
Oh no!
No, I haven't either. I don't know what. I gotta watch it though. Like I said, I give it a chance.
Is it gonna be? What is it rated? They should have a rated R Cruella different movie.
Cruella. Well, let's see. It looks like it gives off. Some would say that it gives off Joker vibes.
That'd be kind of cool. Rated R.
That would be different. Action, comedy, crime.
That is PG-13.
If it's Disney, probably. It doesn't say what it's rated yet. Emma Thompson's in it though too.
Yeah, they got a lot of people. Yeah, they got people.
Cousin Steffi wants to know. Yeah, Young Rock will be good, Nico. What are our days like when we're not on here? We just stay in the apartment.
But
Armand's in school again now, so
again,
Tuesday,
will always be,
Thursdays.
I guess. But
Yeah, we didn't have class yesterday though.
Right. Didn't have class
I just
yesterday.
gotta do some homework today. That's on my agenda.
You're on homework today.
And with some Champions League. Yeah.
So now we'll watch Champions League. I don't know. We usually do this. Then we go and we just sit in the living room, watch TV, and do more work. Yeah, we banter like this too. Sometimes we'll go into our... Listen to that roar. That purr of the Keurig. That'll never get old.
Oh fuck.
We don't do anything. Like, that's the whole thing. We stay indoors. We clean. We'll go to the grocery store once in a while. We watch TV. Do work. We do some work. We try to make it a goal to apply at least 2 jobs a day. Because if you apply 2 jobs a day, 5 days a week, that's 10 jobs a week. How about that? Miss Martin says, I want to know how's Terrell, Sam, and Jeff. We can give a quick update. We got about 10, 15 minutes before Clayton gets in. You're reading something. You're into something. What is happening?
Nothing. I think you'll see after. We just got
a lovely text from Terrell. But
Anyways, I was just looking at my text. Oh,
Well, we can't sit out on our deck today because it's cold out. But yeah, sometimes we'll sit outside. We'll just hang out, chit chat.
you're right.
We'll go on a walk usually, but the weather doesn't allow that right now.
Mrs. Martin wants the update.
Yeah.
You know, we got to give our parents sometimes. How's everyone doing?
I was right. I was waiting.
Oh, okay. Terrell's doing
Just
well.
checks.
He's at work right now, as he usually is. But he's doing well. His birthday is coming up soon,
March 5th.
so that would be cool. Also, speaking of birthdays, I think Sam's is in a month.
Yep.
He's doing well. Him and Jeff
Living in
are
KC.
working, living in KC, having a good time. And yeah, Jeff also doing well. Both of them are working men now.
They are.
Terrell, all three, I guess, are.
Damn. And here,
And here I am.
Here we
I
are.
am once again.
Jeff's working, doing his usual working. Sam works at home.
Mm-hmm.
They're usually in here, but they're working guys.
Yeah,
Sam's
so-
probably in a meeting right now.
Sometimes
Probably now.
they're in here if they got time.
Cousin Steffi, I don't know if you want to come visit us. We don't even have chairs. Well, we have chairs, but they're computer chairs and fold-up chairs. We don't even have. We got floor seating here. How about that? We're like a concert. We got floor seating.
Floor seating.
We got floor
We
seating.
got a big TV, so it is like a.
It's like a concert. Boom. Dang. Play some Madden. We don't really do a lot. We play some trivia. We talk to each other. Mostly talking to each other. Research. We do some sports research. Armand's
Yeah,
like,
you're right.
We do.
We do. When do we do sports research?
Come to KC. Oh yeah, always come to KC. It's only a 40-minute drive from here.
Today,
Mom, obviously no yoga on the deck because, well,
now Raj.
there's snow on the deck right now.
Look what Raj said. He's looking at something. What happened today?
Today marks the 27th year since David Robinson had a quadruple double. Center's the only power forwards better shot at getting quadruple doubles than a guard per se.
I mean, you think about it, right? Because name the main stats: point, rebound, assists, and then what would you think would be the fourth one? Like without even looking. Like think about it. You think block, you would
Block,
think steal.
steal, yeah.
So, and how often does someone get 10 steals? What's more common? 10 steals or 10 blocks? You tell me. I don't know. Maybe steals?
That's a question for the audience. Maybe blocks.
So I think that's the thing.
Oh, you know who he recorded the quadruple double against?
MJ?
Nope. Well, no, team.
What was the team?
Detroit. He did it against
He
Detroit.
said 20 what years ago?
27 years.
27?
Look at this guy with fun facts. You guys and your fun facts.
94 or something?
Oh, man.
Interesting.
Yeah, 94. Good man.
David
34
Robinson,
points. And he got exactly 10 rebounds, 10 assists, and 10 blocks.
10 blocks. See, I would think
10
it
blocks.
might be easier for a big man to get that quadruple double.
It was the fourth and last quadruple double in NBA history. Wow, that's kind of crazy to think
I
about.
want to know who are the other three. We probably will, maybe. We'd assume, but
I can tell you right now.
and then I want to know what their positions would be. And then same thing in basketball. And then maybe that can help us understand that when it comes to quadruple doubles, you're right? They're it's for the big man.
Research. See, look, this is what we do. We do research. Elijah One had one. Did I say that right?
Yeah, Elijah one,
Elijah One. Nate Thurman, big guy, and Alvin Robertson. What position did Alvin Robertson play?
Alvin Robinson.
Alvin. He was a. Oh, yeah. Okay.
A guard or
He's from Arkansas. Shooting guard. So there you go. One guard has quadruple double.
he probably had
Under his
steals then.
Are
Interesting.
you guys excited for the baseball season this year? We've talked about some of the sports that have been going on. We haven't touched on NBA a lot, but we'll hopefully talking with. What are you looking for? Your mic's over here.
No, I was looking for these.
Well, you got to grab your mic anyway.
I will. Well, I will, but we're gonna We're gonna be talking to Giltner soon.
Yeah, Clayton. Yeah. He'll be in the green room
He'll be in the green room. Our producers are going to contact us about that pretty soon.
We are the producers.
What is your radio voice? Do you have one? You're calling play-by-play. How do you sound?
Armand shoots. Armand scores.
Armand shoots. So you
2-0.
just sound like how we're talking on Coffee John. You don't change it just a little bit. You don't talk about how Raj wants to know if Draymond came close, but he only had 8 points. Or you just say, Rajwan, no, Draymond came close.
No, Draymond came close, but he only had 8 points.
Draymond came close, but he only had 8 points.
No.
But Nico has asked this before.
No, Nico. Oh, wait, why are you asking my radio voice? You know I do a news recording every morning. You can hear me. Don't you ever hear it?
I do.
Yeah,
I do.
there we go.
But see, that's the thing here. I have the last one. You want donut?
Thanks. That's love right there. Oh, but tell me about this radio voice that you speak of. TV voice. What are you doing? What are you looking at? What are you squinting at?
Sorry, I was texting the boss.
The boss man.
Yeah.
Mhm. No, but I'm glad Nico's asked before. Yeah, Nico, you've asked if they're excited for the baseball season. I know I am, because Kansas City Royals, according to MLB.com, David Adler, the writer, they are when it comes to dark horses this year, they are the third. They are ranked number 3. Teams that could be better than you think.
Really?
Oh yeah, man. I'm clever with Royals team. You know why?
Yeah.
Because they know that they have talent at the pitching position, young talent, and they can back it up with.
You know what? You know what Nico wants to know? This is how we got to talk if he wants to know that.
Lily's. Oh, you weren't texting Terrell.
I said the boss.
You said boss man.
Oh, sorry. Anyway.
Or maybe you said the boss, and I assumed
said
Terrell.
boss. Yeah. I don't genderfy the bosses.
I just
the
thought
bosses
you
in
said
here.
Terrell had texted us, so I was just
Yeah.
like, and he's the working man. He does bring home.
Yeah,
the
we got the
bacon.
working man and we got the boss. Nico wants to know Christopher Walken.
You want to hear a Christopher Walken impression from me? That's not Christopher
Okay,
Walken.
if you're gonna do, I'll do mine.
Yeah,
That was yours.
Christopher
Christopher Walken. I don't know. What does he say? I'm eating some donuts. I need you the donuts. Some donuts. How does he?
No, you're doing it better than I could.
I don't know. I think we're both bad.
maybe we'll ask Clayton.
If you would grade our Christopher Walken impressions, what would you grade it? Be honest. On a scale of 1 to 10, give me the decimals. 10's Christopher Walken.
You did say be honest.
Okay, be honest, because I'll be. Do you know why I said that? Because I heard yours, and I was like, okay, maybe.
I'm trying to think of the latest Christopher Walken movie we watched.
Christopher Walken. You're talking to my man all wrong. You're talking. We got to say that. You're talking.
You're talking to
you're
my man
talking-
all wrong.
You're talking to my man.
More Joe Pesci for Armand. So that's a
Really?
compliment.
You think I sound like a Joe Pesci? You think you're gonna come here?
Yeah,
gonna come
honestly, you sound like Joe Pesci from Home Alone right now.
Really, I feel like that's really
He
an
said-
actor that I kind of feel.
He said that blasted good.
We're over here drinking a coffee. I don't even know. I don't know. We're just. It's glad that they think this is entertainment. The 3 people. Whoa!
I gotta see what Chris.
One of my Persian friends from KU, Mercedes. Actually, I've known her before.
Hello.
Any thoughts on KC for 2026 World Cup?
I think they got a good chance. We talked about it. a while ago. You think I'm funny? Funny how?
You think I'm funny? You're funny how?
That's Joe Pesci. Yeah.
Do I amuse you?
Yeah. Don't call Joe Pesci funny. Don't call him funny. Don't say anything's funny.
Yeah, I think KC is the prime. Hello, I think KC is the prime candidate for the Midwest, because if you look, Chicago's not there, Denver's there. If you want to say Midwest, places in Texas are there, and then Nashville are there. By what I mean there is they're in the running for being a host, one of the 10 I think selected cities in the U.S. 7 or 10. I think it's 10. I think Kansas City has a good opportunity, but I also think that's also a little me hoping that they can host it. The big thing is that we talked about is going to be weather.
Yep.
But I hope that now remember when they did host it in Brazil, technically, I can't do that because my fingers held. Technically, right? It was winter there when they did in Brazil. But how hot is winter in Brazil or winter in South Africa, right? How hot is summer in I don't know how it's
Qatar.
summer in France is.
Qatar.
Well, Qatar is going to
November.
be
You're right.
Qatar is going to be winter, right? It's actually going to be winter. Winter for us. Winter in the
Their
North
winter,
Hemisphere.
what their winter is, which I don't know what their winter
I don't
is
know.
over there.
So I think that's going to be the big thing. But right, they're going to be putting it in Texas, or if they want to put it in Tennessee, like that's still going to be warm. If they want to put it in LA, that's still going to be warm, right? So I hope, yeah, they should get to host
Games.
Canes and games.
And they've done the work. They've done the work not only with bringing back an NWSL team with Casey Woso, but Sporting has been,
I think,
and then of course the facilities, opening up your area, your city to building complexes and whatnot.
and if they
Training grounds.
if they aren't in the running now, if they aren't in even like top consideration from the crew making that call, then I think all we need, and I'm being honest, is a call from Patrick Mahomes. No, like,
you're right. You're absolutely
because
right.
we talk about him, if he's not just a football star, we see all these soccer players who have Mahomes jerseys, like top guys, like who play for Atletico Madrid or at Bayern Munich, right? Why not Kansas City? All we need is something for Mahomes to say. I never thought an NBA team would realistically come to this city, to Kansas City, until Mahomes started tweeting a couple things about it, and then he got an ownership for baseball. So that's my thoughts on it.
That's a great that's a great transition. A great question too, because we did talk about soccer in the first half, and we did mention World Cup talk years from now.
Mhm.
But with that being said, we have our guest from out in LA. I'm getting a phone call right now. I need to go grab my phone, decline that. We got that as a camera. Clayton, you're in the green room right now, buddy. We're gonna go ahead and get you on, but we're gonna get our camera set up and everything.
You're right, Raj. New airport, more public transit options. And what are they trying to do? What is the city trying to do? Arian just entered the chat. Arian, we're about to have an interview.
What's up,
Hey.
man?
Hi.
Oh, hello. Getting it all set up right now. I don't know who was trying to call me. All right.
Hello.
Okay, I can hear you. You can hear me? We good?
I can
All
hear
right.
you.
Here we go. All right. Without further ado, one of our first OG Coffees On guests or fans, one of our first fans, found us on Twitch out in LA, Mr. Clayton Giltner. Let me get the banner out of the way for you. Clayton, how are you doing today?
Hey guys, how's it going? I'm doing great.
Glad to hear. How's the morning out there? I see a nice sunny background behind you. How's the weather out there compared to here?
The weather's great. It's a little windy today, but weather's good. How's it? How are things out your way? Are we getting lots of snow?
We got some snow this morning, yes, but we're just getting some freezing temperature. Believe it or not, it's 10 degrees right now, and that's probably the warmest it's been the last 4 or 5 days.
Oh my gosh, that's crazy.
One of my cousins, actually, it's her birthday today. She's in the group chat right now. She lives out in San Diego.
Nice.
She loves the beach. What are some of the things out in LA that you like to do when it comes to the warm weather?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the beach is a really big one for us. We go to the beach probably once a week. We haven't been here in the last few weeks because it's been a little cool, but yeah, it's nice, especially with COVID, because we can get out there and just not have to be around a lot of people, so it's pretty nice.
Tell us about we were mentioning earlier how each state's kind of in their own different world right now. And Texas is experiencing cold weather and stuff that they supposedly weren't prepared for. Kansas, of course, getting below freezing temperatures. We were at -20 one night. In California, it's the pandemic, somewhere where it's hit really hard. Kind of tell us about what's going on out there, some of the things that you've seen change in the last year.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's like a lot of places we've been hit by the pandemic, and so the changes out here are just everything shutting down, and it's been kind of everything grinding to a halt and then reopening and then grinding to a halt and then reopening. And fortunately now it looks like our COVID numbers and hospitalizations are going down. So I think yesterday I read that the kids are going to be back in school soon. Hopefully, that schools can open in LA now. I don't think they're going to open yet, but they can. It's normally wildfires out here, but here lately it's been pandemics. So, it's we're surviving, but well, not everyone is, but
Of course.
It's just, I have relatives in Kansas, I have relatives in Oklahoma, I have relatives in Arkansas. That's actually where my family lives, my brothers and sisters, my mother. And so, I'm familiar with, what they've been going through, and probably similar to what you've been going through. And it's a very different story than what it is here, because as I try to explain to my mother, we have more people in our county than in 3 or 4 states, in the middle of the country there. And so because of the number of people we have, it's just a different story.
Absolutely. So talk about your family. So are you from the Midwest then, or did they spread out from the West Coast? Did they move out?
No, I was born in Arkansas. I grew up in Oklahoma City. And back in the 1930s, my family moved from Arkansas. I mean, obviously this was way before I was born, to Southern California, and they set up shop out here. And they weren't in the entertainment business, but they were doing like, they had like a dry cleaner service and like a service station.
Love it.
And anyway, I imagine them like, it was probably like the Beverly Hillbillies, they moved from Arkansas to, Southern California. But anyway, so I've had relatives out here for many years, but I grew up out your way, in Oklahoma City. And then I moved out here, several years ago.
Awesome.
So I have to tell you, I graduated from the University of Oklahoma, and I hope that won't cause our connection to end here today. But
No, that's fine. We don't have anything with the University of Oklahoma. Boomer Sooner. Right. Yeah. We grew up with, I guess, some fans from Oklahoma, in the Midwest. You got some people from all over, not just Kansas State, Missouri, but here on Coffee's On, and you're one of our early fans, so you know that we're big on some random questions. And we got a lot of people, although we're in the Midwest, we have a lot of knowledgeable people. And one of our friends, Rajat, he wants to know, what's your favorite taco spot or your favorite Korean barbecue spot? You're in LA, big food place. We want to kind of know about some of your favorites.
Oh, the taco spots. Well, the taco trucks are the most, unhealthy and therefore tasty, and probably unregulated. No, not really.
Wi-Fi went out. Sorry about that. I think our Wi-Fi took a hit there for a second. So what are some of the things that you've done through COVID? I think that's something that we've talked about, is kind of adapting. Our cousin Stephanie asked us, what do we do when we're not doing Coffee's On? Well, it's like, we don't go out much anywhere. We watch a lot of TV. Have you picked up any new hobbies, continuing to work on your craft? What's been happening?
Well, I have been home mostly. I haven't gotten out a whole lot, which is probably not good for anyone's mental health, but outside of going to the beach, I've stayed home for the most part. You know, I have 4 kids, and so they're being, you know, homeschool. I mean, I guess homeschooled here now and on Zoom, and so our house is literally like a 3-ring circus, you know, this year. So it's been good because we've enjoyed being home together, you know, and just kind of slowing down from the, you know, from the crazy life of going and going and going. But as for me, no, I mean, I haven't really done anything productive in terms of working on my craft, or, you know, I have just really been, you know, maintaining sanity as much as I can. I mean, I have done some projects for my company. You know, we've done a few projects, and we've got some things in the works, but nothing really big to speak of.
No, that's all right. We got to take the downtime when it's given to us. You know, it's that kind of thing where, you know, it's fine. It's fine to not be. This is a time to be okay with not being productive, because I think one thing that's about as humans is that we're always just kind of working and moving. We're kind of, you know, just haven't taken the time to kind of. It's kind of been kind of the blessing within that's been disguised in this whole pandemic, is just kind of having that downtime and more time to be with your family. I assume you probably have you've gotten a lot of time spending with your kids down there. So talk about the 3-ring circus. You got the homeschooling and then your production company. Let's talk about Giltner Creative Productions a little bit. So how have you managed to continue to work? How has your company managed to continue to work during the pandemic?
Well, we have, we had plans in March to do a play festival in New York, which is where we run our theater company,
Mm-hmm.
which is a live theater branch of the work that we do in my production company. And so we had that planned, and of course we had to cancel that. So we pivoted from the live theater version of the story we were developing to tell in that setting.
Yep.
And so we created a streaming version of it, which is it was stories based on people who survived the 1918 pandemic, and so we were researching from diaries and letters about their experiences in their life, and then we shot this remote version of it, which turned out okay. It wasn't, really what we had hoped it would be. We weren't sure what it was going to end up looking like or being, but that was probably one of our bigger projects last year, just getting that done and getting that out. And right now we're just restructuring. So we're in the process of restructuring our business and what we're going to do moving forward later this year and next year. So we're kind of in business planning mode right now.
Hey, you got to have a plan ready for once it's all over, right?
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
So one of our viewers asked, how has the pandemic sparked innovation in your field?
Well, I don't know about innovation, but everything we're doing is obviously in this environment, what we're doing here today, which is all on Zoom. We're all on Skype. So every meeting we've had this year has been in this environment, which has been really kind of cool, because in LA, you have to really work hard to meet with people, because it's a big undertaking, if that makes sense, because it kind of takes your whole day. If you say, hey, let's meet, let's have a quick meeting, or let's go grab coffee. It's like, okay, there goes my day, because we're going to have to travel. We're going to have to park. We're going to have to, all those kinds of things. So I guess just from an innovation standpoint, it's like the new normal now that we're going to do this on Zoom, which is great, but it's also kind of like we're not in the same room, which is bad. But
of course.
But one of the things I've noticed, I don't know if you guys have noticed this, but you're kind of forced to look at everyone in the meeting like the whole time. And I don't remember that in meetings, before. So it's kind of awkward at first, but it's helpful, because you kind of get a sense of what everyone's thinking and, what their vibe is, because you're just staring at them the whole time in a meeting. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I'm kind of interested though, as a filmmaker, right? You being a filmmaker, how does a guy from Arkansas, Oklahoma, how does he get into film and then become who you are today? Kind of talk about, your
Moving
path.
from the Midwest to the West
Yeah,
Coast.
moving from the Midwest to, a little bigger of a city in the West Coast. Kind of talk us through that and how you got into film.
Well, when I was in high school in Oklahoma City, I wasn't really good at anything, and especially sports. You guys talk a lot about sports, and I think that's I'm the most uncoordinated person in the universe.
That's why we
But-
talked, because we couldn't play it that well.
Yeah, I can relate. But you guys talk the talk really well. I can't even do that.
Thank you.
But anyway, so I was getting involved, in high school theater, and drama and acting and all those kinds of things. And then people around me, just like high school counselors and other adult mentors in my life, I guess, and even just my peers would say, "Hey, you're pretty good at this, And so I was kind of like finding for the first time, oh, I'm kind of good at something, And so I pursued it. I went to college and then and started out as an actor, and I was touring around the United States as an actor. I was performing for live theater for a while, for several years. And anyway, it just, I guess just the career path just kind of, started in that way. And then I transitioned into directing, and I transitioned into producing. And so I've kind of, learned along the way the ropes, and you make connections and you make contacts, you make, I guess in any business, but certainly in the entertainment business, you just make connections with people. And it's like, one thing leads to another. And yeah, so I did theater for a long time, and did theater in New York, and like I said, traveling around. And I aligned myself with a mentor here in LA many years ago, actually when I was still at the University of Oklahoma, because he was from Oklahoma. His name is Lou Antonio, very, very huge television director, and he's like 80 years old now, but he's done so many things. You can look him up on IMDb and you'll just be like, wow, this guy's had a huge career. But he was from Oklahoma City. That's where he grew up. Mm-hmm. And so through the University of Oklahoma, I connected with him, and I came out to LA and met with him. And so he really has been a mentor to me. And that's how I transitioned, or have been in the process of transitioning. I'm not there yet. I feel like I'm still transitioning into the film and TV world in terms of directing and writing and stuff like that. So, so I don't know if that answers the question. I guess it's kind of I feel like I'm rambling about it, but
no, that's what we love about. Hey, that's what Coffee's On is. I see you got your warm drink today. That's what you get, the caffeine in you. That's what happens. We love going on rambles and tangents, because that's how you get the full story. We don't get where we're at in life by ourselves, and you prove that right there with your mentor that helped you. What was his name again? That way,
his name is Lou Antonio.
How do you?
It's L-O-U, and then Antonio is A-N-T. Just Antonio.
That's my middle name. I got it. No,
okay.
I love it. I'm gonna make sure I want to look him up later. But yeah, so
he had a really impressive career, and he came to the University of Oklahoma while I was there, and he was leading some workshops, which is how I met him. And then I had to do my master's thesis. And that's what, and so I called him and said, hey, can you, will you let me interview you for my master's thesis? And he was like, yeah, of course. And so that's when I really kind of, the door opened for me to come to LA and to meet him. And then from there, just getting familiar. I wasn't even trying to find a mentor, and I had no plans to ever move to LA. In fact, my wife and I had been to LA because I had done a workshop out here, or a play reading out here. Mm-hmm. And we were here for like a weekend, and we drove around, and this was about a year or two before we moved here, and we just looked at each other and we were like, we're never moving to this city. You know, we don't ever want to live here. And then the opportunity arose. And so, but now that we're here, we love it, and we can't imagine being anywhere else. It just feels right for us. And my kids are doing really well out here. They're very well grounded out here. And, it's just going really well for us so far.
No, I love that. That is the definition of home right there. You just said it right. You just nailed it. Oh, we freeze again. we got the cheap internet. We're just recent college grads. We got the cheap internet. But no, that right there is the definition of home. And I love that. And that's what I love about it. And I'm telling them right now, you haven't been yet, but San Diego, man, Southern California, it's an easy thing to fall in love with. You were two. Yeah, you did. You were two. You're too young to fall in love at that point. But Clayton, I actually checked out your film, The Prevalence. And if there's one thing that it gave me, first of all, it was a very good film. I loved how there was different stories within it. It's a short film, but you get different perspective. And that's something that I got out of it, because you may think that the Spanish flu, when that happened, that it was a different way of life, but it's still in the same kind of way of how we live ours. You know, we're not right. You know, there's still forms of communication back then. It was with letters though. And we're blessed now. Look, now we can send an email and have someone from LA and come on in a matter of seconds. But that film right there, you said was direct. I remember seeing it. You said it yourself too. Just now in the interview, it was each actor filmed it in their own home, correct?
Right.
Tell us about the difficulties of. So you weren't there with them directing it more.
That's right.
So tell me some of the difficulties that you had going through, or the challenge, I would say, making that film, but you were still able to get it done.
Well, like I said before, in that project, we weren't sure how it would turn out, because we didn't really know what to expect, because none of us have ever done anything like that, where we're directing remotely and actors are doing all the things on their own. Most of our actors have a pretty big background in acting in theater, so they kind of knew what they were doing, I guess, from an acting standpoint for the most part. But most of them didn't know much about the technology of lighting, and sound especially was our biggest challenge, because sound is always the big challenge with filmmaking, I think. And so it was definitely a challenge. So what I would do is I would send them basically it was like a PDF PowerPoint presentation of how to set their room up, how to set their camera, how to set their lighting. And then they would have like a list of shots that we wanted, and how to go about doing that. And then they would send it in, and then we would review it. And in some cases we had to do a few reshoots here and there, but for the most part they did it. And then we did a lot of the lighting and everything we ended up doing in post-production, just because it was, so varied. But I mean, I guess the hope was that we were going to tell the stories of these people, of these real people, in, a way that was kind of meaningful. And I think we achieved that. We would get we will probably continue to get a lot of kickback on production quality, and, you could have done this or you could have done that, that there will always be those kinds of things. But we just felt like we've got to do something. And I wasn't interested in doing this Zoom play reading or play performance.
Oh, yeah.
Those drive me crazy. I don't watch them. I get so, it just makes me sick. So, so we just had to do something that was different than that,
Exactly. We all have to do things that are different in this time. And when it comes to films, I feel like a lot of people, with a lot of the downtime we've had, and we're two different people when it comes to films. One of us watches a lot of films, the other just watches the trailers. So we got a different intellect when it comes to that. But I know a lot of people have been sitting down watching movies and shows on the different streaming services, and a lot of international films have been becoming more prominent in our eyes. Of course, they've always been prominent. But one of our viewers wants to know if you have any thoughts on the international film markets, like like Bollywood, which has always been there, or maybe the Nigerian film industry, which I mean I don't know anything about, but just the different international film market. You have any thoughts or any favorite movies from that international films and all that?
Well, that's a good question. The international, are we still on, or did we freeze?
Yes.
We're
No,
good?
did we
Okay.
did we freeze up?
Just a little bit, but we're good. I mean, you guys are living through a blizzard right now, so
Everything's
But-
frozen. Wi-Fi is getting frozen. The chairs are frozen. Sometimes
Yeah.
we can't get up.
Yeah. Well, it's a really good question because I think that in the industry, American films and television shows are international. So our distribution is a really big net. And so people all over the world are so used to seeing our work because it's mainstream for them. But then, as you're saying now, it's kind of like we're being exposed more and more now to international films, whereas that's not normally mainstream for our country. You usually kind of have to go a little bit out of your way, to see an international film. But it's very interesting when we watch international films because we do definitely see some differences in the filmmaking technology, not technology, but just the approach that a filmmaker takes, and then the style of telling story, which matches their culture, better than ours. So sometimes when we watch those, I think we get a bad taste in our mouth, or we're like, oh, this is horrible, or you just don't connect with it. And so there's that cultural difference because we in the United States, we're not used to seeing other artists work, whereas they're used to seeing our work all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And an example is our short film, which was supposed to be a series that we were creating, but then we turned it into the short film, The Prevalence. In the United States, it probably will not be very popular, to be honest, just because of the production quality and what it is. But that product will go international. So it will stream in the UK, it will stream in Germany, it will stream possibly in Japan. And it may be really popular in those countries. It may be something that they enjoy watching because it's American, because it's from our vantage point. And so anyway, that's just interesting to me how in our experience, our work even has been more popular in other countries than it has here, which is really interesting to me. But I don't really have a favorite international film off the top of my head that I can think of. But I do enjoy watching them just because it's such a different take. The artistry is different. The culture of wherever that filmmaker comes from is definitely embedded in the film, and you see that.
Is there one region that you kind of have I know you said you don't have a favorite film, but maybe a country that do you have a favorite country when it comes to international films? Or maybe, I don't know if I can say favorite culture or something.
Some work that you pay attention to.
Yeah, maybe some work you pay attention to more than others.
Well, this may sound maybe not as interesting, but I really am more interested in British filmmakers and people from the UK and maybe it's because they're a little more closely aligned to our filmmaking styles, but they are different. And I think it seems to me that there's a higher bar there in their storytelling. Dare I say it, but we tend to dumb down stories in the US so that we can make them palpable to us Americans that we like to watch mainstream things.
Do you have name me an example or two of some of those things, possibly? Kind of like how they are remaking franchises or picking up franchises 20 years after the debut of it, possibly.
Yeah, I mean, let's see. Well, here's an example, I guess, of what I'm saying is for something for us to think about. In the United States, we sell products really well that are action adventure. We like seeing people's heads get blown off. We like, stories like that. Not that there's anything wrong with those kinds of stories, but they're kind of base stories, I guess you could say. They're kind of I don't know what the word is, but they're just kind of base. But then when you get into other countries like the UK and Germany, France, when you get into other countries and other films, you start to see different kinds of stories. Like, for example, in the French culture, they're fine with full frontal nudity, for like long periods of time in the movie, and in the US, we're not okay with that, but in France, they're not going to blow someone's head off. We're not going to see their head blow up on the screen as much because that's offensive to them. They don't like that kind of vibe. And in fact, in Germany, it's against the law to show that on screen. It's against the law to show someone get shot on screen. So the gunshot would be off screen. We might see the body fall, but so anyway, just culturally speaking, there's a lot of differences there. And so I don't want to say that in the US we're so dumb, because we're not, but it's just that we figured out what people in our country like to see, and then we monetize it. And then ironically, we monetize it overseas too, because they like watching our films too. But
No, I think that's very well said, because it's very true how I feel like storytelling, original scripts, it's as if Hollywood isn't as original anymore. It's kind of like they've lost that. Am I right about that? Kind of lost its sense of wanting to be more creative, possibly.
no, I think you're totally on board there. I agree with that.
How do you
Because
feel?
we can only sell things that we can only sell things audiences want to watch, like the prevalence, and of course, no budget, low budget, nothing project in a sense. But that could, no one's ever going to pick that up and say, "Ooh, let's make this into a feature, and let's add some some money to this to make it more of a feature." They're probably not going to do that. We're not making films like that anymore, that aren't going to just really sell quickly in the mainstream, and it's kind of a sad time in that way. I mean, we see some original stuff come out on Netflix more than anything. I think the executives at Netflix give their creatives a little bit more license to do more creative stuff than some of the others, but it's been that way for a while.
I'm glad you said Netflix, because it seems now in the last year, as we see movies transition over to streaming, specifically with Warner Brothers and HBO Max, is that something that is hurting the film industry? Taking movies and putting them straight on the streaming for free viewing.
Right. Well, I think ultimately it will not necessarily hurt the industry. I think it's just we're living through a time when when we're seeing a transition. Where the transition, if we go back and we look at the way things were, we would say, oh yes, it's hurting the industry. But at the same time, it's the industry is just changing. So the new way we see a film, is that's the new way. It will be the new way. So so seeing films in theaters may become a niche thing for us. It will be a special kind of audience that would do that in the future, is at least what I predict. So I think initially it was, in March, it was hurting the industry when it happened quickly, and then everything was shutting down, and these multi-million-dollar movies that were ready to go couldn't be seen in theaters. So there was no box office revenue. But I think all of the streaming services have done a pretty good job of figuring out quickly, how can we do this? How can we monetize this?
Yeah.
And I think we'll see that more and more as we go forward.
What may be the future of movie theaters in your opinion, in your professional opinion? What could we see? Because that's one of the big conversations, is theaters being shut down, possibly because nobody wants to go to the theaters. Although I don't associate myself with those people, because I love going to theaters. We get the unlimited pass that you can pay for monthly. What are your thoughts on that? Seeing as you're living in the city where there's a lot of independently owned theaters. Is that correct? Yeah, independently owned theaters.
Well, I mean, I think financially it may be really difficult for the theaters to survive, after the pandemic in some ways. I think it was already hard for them, to be honest with you. Before the pandemic, we were seeing in the last few years, we were seeing their revenues continuing to slope down and down and down. So we were already on that path. But I don't know what you may think about this, but I keep thinking, well, it's either going to go one of two ways. We're either going to basically say, okay, there's going to be a handful of theaters in a city that are more niche, you know, where it's just a small group of people who would go for special occasions or whatever. Or we're all going to be so crazy with being holed up for months on end that we're all going to go out and want to go to theaters, you know, and so it'll boom. So I'm not sure.
I personally haven't been to the theater since the pandemic started, simply because of movie theaters closing and just not feeling comfortable enough to go and see one. Do miss it a lot though, but have transitioned over to, you know, streaming, watching movies. I won't lie, I watch them if they're on there. It's just that you got to. If it's there, it's there. One of those things. But
were you a big movie goer before the pandemic? Did you go to theater a lot?
Yeah. So one of our roommates, Terrell, he sometimes features on the show. He's at work right now, but he worked at the movie theater in our college town, so we got to go to free movies all the time. So since I would say avid, like being able to go for free since I've got here in 2016. But before that, I loved going to my local theater, which is a Cinemark. It's matinees. But yeah, no, I was a big theater goer. How about yourself?
You know, I liked going to see movies in the theater, but not as frequently as I used to. Just before pandemic, but that had a lot to do with just being really, really busy. So I had to figure out how to do it. When I was growing up in Oklahoma, you know, what we loved to do was we loved the dollar movie. Yeah. And wow, those days are probably long gone, but man, that was awesome. You pay $1 to see, you know, a movie that was just slightly out of date. I don't know if we'll ever get back to that.
Some dollar theaters now. I don't think we will, simply because I don't even know if you can go see a movie for $1. I think even Redbox is no longer $1. They still they charge like $1.50 now or something to see a movie. But I want to talk some more about your film, The Prevalence. Is that okay? The story itself takes place during the Spanish flu, but there's sub stories to it, and that's what I really liked about it. Is with the characters, each one had their own different story. You had the relationships with, I believe your character was writing to his brother, but was also the father. Was still a father, right?
Mm-hmm. That's
father.
Right.
And then we had in the sequence after that, we had two lovers. One was at war, correct, and the other was writing to his love back at home. Kind of talk about some of the meat and the potatoes that goes into your film, The Prevalence, which is on Amazon.
Well, I mean, the thing to remember about it, if you see it, is those are based on real people. So what we were doing is we were looking at letters, as I said before, and diaries of people who really lived through it. So like, for example, the second segment on that film with the guy from that was in Germany in World War I, and then his girlfriend, who eventually became his wife. That was a really long series of letters between the two of them, back and forth. And also he wrote a lot of letters to his parents that we had, which is why we had the mother in there that we had record of. So I don't know, for me, when I think about watching those stories and realizing that they are real people and that those really were some of the circumstances. I mean, we took some license, obviously, to, you know, make it our own story, but I just think it's really cool, you know, to hear someone's story and think, wow, that really happened. You know, that was really real.
And then to see it being acted out as well.
Yeah. And so from that standpoint, it's kind of fun to think about how you're going to portray it, you know, how you're going to perform it. In the case of the one that I was in, that was actually a story about a little girl and her father who, the soup thing, you know, so that's what they did. They ended up saving their town of 200 and by taking them soup and taking care of them during the pandemic.
Bean soup.
And they took care of that German family.
Yeah.
And that was a real story. You know, the brother wasn't real, but I mean, he may have been real, but we didn't know that. But and then we chose to have the old lady version of, you know, try to tell that story, which we don't know whatever happened to the little girl necessarily. You know, we don't know what she grew up to be or do. But anyway, I just think it's really cool to have some truth to the story, you know.
Is that something that's big for you when you go into whether you're writing the script for a story, or you're looking at different ones and picking one to direct? Is that something that you look for in a story, is just how much of this is true and how much of it is stuff that was creative writing?
Honestly, no, it's not normally. This was the first time I've really dived into something that was more, you know, based on a true story. Most of the stuff I direct or write is completely made up. So this was kind of a different approach and a different twist for me, but a lot of fun.
So you wear many hats, and it shows on the website. You're like I said, director, a writer, a producer, but you're also an actor yourself, and you're an acting coach. Is that something that you kind of picked up from your mentor, wanting to give back to, wanting to kind of become a coach of your own and possibly a mentor for other young aspiring actors?
Well, I think it goes back more toward my career as a director. You know, so directors and teachers are very closely connected, just in terms of personality and in terms of our communication style. A lot of times, I think there's a lot of similarities between those two types of fields, if that makes sense. So, so it just kind of naturally plays out that I would want to coach actors and mentor actors, because it's just basically, it's the same thing as directing them. It's just, you know, working on something different with them. But so that's kind of where that comes from. And also I teach college part-time,
Okay.
depending on the semester. So I also have a lot of experience in the classroom teaching, you know, as well. So so it just kind of makes sense, I guess, for me. And I enjoy that aspect of it. I enjoy the directing side of coaching actors and helping them overcome whatever blocks are in their way to get where they're going. I don't really view myself as an actor as much as I do as a director. And in fact, this production of The Prevalence, that's the first time I've acted in maybe a decade or more. It's been a long time since I've acted. It's something that I don't normally do anymore, but because I'm usually on the other end of it in terms of the directing.
Of course. Hey, you fooled me. The acting was great in that one. I enjoyed it very much. Like I said, the film, it's only for the viewers at home. Oh, I'm looking at there's no camera over there. For the viewers at home, it's on Amazon. You can stream it on Amazon. It's about 35 minutes short film. It's called The Prevalence. You guys can check it out. You talked about yourself, being a director. It kind of was one of those paths. If you're a director, you kind of turn into a coach, and it's kind of just a given. Just kind of seeing that passion in young actors. Is there things that, you know, has there been moments maybe where you've just been wowed by someone right off the bat, just by a student who's come to you and they've needed a teacher, and you've just seen them, and you kind of just get that first meet and greet, and you kind of see what they do, and you're just kind of like, wow, this is great. It's perfect. Not perfect, but this is great.
Yeah, I mean, I've had that happen several times where an actor will just be very natural and seem to have a lot of very natural ability to do what they do. I'm sure it's the same thing in sports. You know, we see people who just have that spark, and you kind of hate them secretly because you're like, how are they doing this? You know,
of course.
And then you may have other athletes, you know, who have to really work it. You know, they have to really work hard to improve. But what I try to do in the situations where I have performers who just, you know, blow you out of the water from the very beginning is I have to work hard to find ways to improve them, you know, and then it challenges me to be able to critique, like, okay, how are we going to get them? Where do they need to improve? And sometimes we can be fooled by their talent to think, oh, they don't need to improve, but there's always room for that. And so I have to find that. So those are fun challenges, I guess, for me as a coach. But by and large, most actors, because it's a complicated craft, to be honest. And so a lot of actors do need help, they do need work in different areas. And so I would say, 90% of the actors I work with are ones that really do need a lot of coaching. And then the others are miracle people who just naturally do what they do.
And that's why I said perfect, and that's why I didn't want to say perfect, because nothing's ever perfect, and you said it right there. Even then, you're still fine, and that's the challenges of a teacher. You get the star student pupil in the class, but you still want to find ways to improve them, because just how talented that they could be with just a little bit more work.
Well, and Marco, another thing about that is, and what I look for is, I'm looking for people who want to learn, because, with actors and even I would say probably people in the sports area too, there's a big ego that comes along with talent. And that's very counterproductive to the work that we do. And so if I have someone in the room who's very, very talented, but they have a big ego, I'm not going to work with them. I'm not going to go down that path. I'm not going to cast them. And that's actually one of the things we look for in a casting session. We're trying to figure out, are they teachable? Are they open? Or are they all that? And if they think they're all that, we can't work with them. And they're going to hinder the team. They're going to hinder the chemistry of the team working together. Same thing in sports, I'm sure, And so we might make $1 million off of one of them because they're so great, but at the same time, it's like, it's not worth it to us to work with that kind of person. So, I love working with artists who are extraordinarily talented naturally, but also just humble and open, because I think that's the key,
I love that. And you said it right there. I think that, it's in sports, correct? It is in sports. But I think that it's just also in life right there. That's a good lesson of life, is to just always be humble and true to yourself, and always looking for ways to improve. So what are some things that you do? What are one or two things that you do look for in a student that you want to help, that makes you want to help them?
Well, the main thing is I'm trying to find people or align myself with people in a mentorship situation or a coaching situation where, they're motivated to have a career in acting. So if they're just wanting to do it for a hobby or something like that, there's nothing wrong with having a hobby in acting, and that's great. But I'm trying to, I'm more interested in working with people who really do want to work hard to have a career in it. So that's what I'm looking for, is what's their motivation to do that. And as I think Stellato, I don't know.
That's Stephanie. That's my cousin Stephanie.
Oh, Stephanie.
Stellato.
Stephanie says, so Stephanie says, I don't want to be famous. And that's what I'm looking for. I'm not looking for people who would want to be famous, because that is not the goal. Obviously in the back of your head, you might think you want to get to a certain level and you want to achieve that. But if fame's what you're after, we're going to have a lot of roadblocks to get there, So I'm just looking for artists who want to improve and do really well and build their craft. And those are the ones that I love working with. I'm working with a young man right now who we're doing our coaching sessions over Zoom, and he was a child actor out here in LA. And now he's an adult and he's wanting to get back into it. So he understands a lot about the business side and all the cutthroat stuff, that actors go through. But he's just wanting to improve his craft. He wants to be a better actor. And I enjoy that because it gives us stuff to work on. And it's fun to see an actor progress and get better and better, as we move forward.
For those who begin as child actors, whether it's in commercials or some of these shows that a lot of people see, Disney or movie or whatever it is, for those child actors, is it hard, a little more difficult for them to continue their career when they become an adult?
Well, probably not any less than, we have lots of examples of child actors who have had a really hard time with that. I don't think it's impossible, though. We see a lot of child actors who do that really well. who can navigate that really well. I honestly think it goes back to their parents, because it's their parents who are going to make or break their future. And so if I see a child actor who's gone on, to become, to transition into something bigger as an adult, then I kind of look back and think, well, their parents probably had a big part in that, in their success and confidence and all that. But I don't know, if we were to do this, if we were to look at statistics, we could probably break it down and say, okay, this is how many child actors make it past, and this is how many that don't. I know a lot of child actors who gave it up, and they were just like, we're done. It was fun while it lasted, but it's not for me. It's not the career that I choose. And, and it is a really hard career path. So some of those actors just say, I want to be an accountant. I don't want to be on screen anymore. And I respect that, obviously.
One thing that we and Clayton, you've been very gracious with your time this morning. We really appreciate it. Thank you so much for being on. One of the we have final two questions I have for you. On this show, we talk about getting into the mind of an athlete, and we talk about kind of putting yourself in that perspective, putting yourself in their shoes. Kind of take us into the mind of actor, director, producer. Are you always thinking of different ideas that you could work with? Maybe you see something on your walk on the beach, and you're like, "Hey, that struck of inspiration." Kind of take us into the mind of a filmmaker, an actor.
Yeah, I think we draw inspiration from everything in our life. Absolutely. And it's a matter of when we see something and we're drawing inspiration from that, we tuck it away, and then it may come out somewhere later in a script or in an action or in something that we do. That observation is a huge part, at least for me, of how I go about it. One of the things that is frustrating is having a lot of ideas and not being able to realize them because of time and just because of effort, so but I think tucking away those experiences is a really valuable thing for any kind of artist, and in creating whatever it is we do, if that makes sense.
What would be some of your advice? I don't know. We have about 10, 11 people in the group. I don't know if any are aspiring filmmakers or actors, but what would be your piece of advice for someone in the Midwest from Oklahoma City who has a dream of moving out maybe to LA and wanting to chase their dreams of working in the film industry?
Well, first of all, we have a lot of people out here from the Midwest. We have a lot of people. Wow. In fact, I worked with an actor last year on a TV pilot we cast. Wyatt is his name. He's from Kansas. He's and anyway, the list goes on and on and on of people who have tried to make this transition and are doing it. Anyway, my advice would be start where you are right now. So if you have dreams of being an actor, you want to pursue it, start acting right now, even if it's in your local school, and if you're taking a class, if it's community theater, if it's in your church, and probably we're not in those environments because of COVID as much right now, but try to find opportunities to act no matter where you are right now. Even if it seems like, oh, this is so amateur, it's still very, very valuable for you to build your craft and get better and better as an actor. So that's my advice and I get that question a lot from different people from our part of the country, is how do I do it? And that's my big piece of advice, is start doing it now. Even if it's not on a big scale, start practicing your craft right now. If you want to be a filmmaker, you've got your phone, go out and take some footage and start editing. You probably already are. You're probably already doing that. And that has huge, huge value. And then the other piece of advice I have is, there's a whole system for how you would make a move to somewhere like LA and how you would get into the business. And so you want to do your research and do your homework. You want to save your money because it's going to be a really expensive venture. And you need to see it as a business. You need to see it as you're starting a business. You're the product. If you're the filmmaker, you are the product and the service you're offering through your business. If you're an actor, you are the product, but you need to see it as a business. And so it will be a business venture for you to move to LA if you choose to do that. And that takes business planning. So view it that way rather than just, oh, I'm going to jump on a bus and go to LA and see what happens. You'll be homeless, so you got to be careful,
No, I love that. A very genuine, real answer there, and advice. We appreciate it very much. Gotta ask a question for my mom because she's in the group. She had one question
Awesome.
for you. As you know, here in Kansas, we're going to be inside for how long. Any notable up and coming directors, films that we should take interest in while we're stuck inside and have internet for right now?
Oh, wow. That's a good question. In fact, my mother, who lives in Tulsa, Oklahoma, she asks me that question almost every day because she's sitting in front of her TV. In fact, just last night, she said, what should I be watching right now? And I'm like, I don't know, So unfortunately, I really don't know offhand the answer to that question. I have been enjoying watching, this is going to sound so stupid.
That's all right.
Okay. But I've been enjoying watching the Peacock channel or the Peacock app, which is NBC. And I think that's a free app. I'm pretty sure that's free. They might have some locked things, but it's a pretty good app. But anyway, I've been watching this new show with Ted Danson. He plays the mayor of LA. It's a sitcom. It's written by Tina Fey. So if you like Tina Fey shows, like kind of quirky comedies, you might like that. I've been enjoying that. But it's also funny for someone who lives in LA because the jokes are kind of LA centric, but it's kind of funny. Well, he's like an older, retired kind of businessman who becomes the mayor of LA, and he has no idea what he's doing. It's kind of funny.
I love that. Ted Danson, did you watch The Good Place?
Yeah.
Another fantastic show. I would watch Cheers when my sophomore year of college because they had put it on Netflix. But yeah, my cousin Stephanie, she says, yes, it's Thursday night on NBC. She's already a fan. but I love that. Clayton, thank you again so much for coming on and joining us. We'll definitely have to have you on back as a guest as well. What's the hot drink you're drinking today? We didn't even ask you. Are you drinking coffee, hot tea?
I'm drinking coffee. It is reheated Starbucks from a day or two ago. I had it in my refrigerator.
Hey, that's okay. By any means necessary, got to get your coffee in for the day.
I almost came on today without coffee, and then I was like, "Oh no, I've got to have a cup of coffee." So I went and got.
That's okay. We have some people call us just drinking water. We have some people like drink hot tea. It doesn't matter. Whatever gets you going in the start of the morning.
Yeah.
Everyone's got their own preference. Clayton, thank you again so much. Everyone, you can check out The Prevalence on Amazon Prime. It's streaming there. If they want to see some more work or visit your website, what's the link? Where would they go?
For the website?
Yeah.
So Giltnercreative.com is our website. And you can find most of our projects that are available will be linked up on there somewhere, I think. Giltnercreative.com.
Perfect. All right, Clayton. Thank you again so much.
You guys, it's nice to meet you. I hope we can do this again. I enjoy your show as always. I'll tune in as much as I can because you guys are awesome.
Oh, we appreciate it, Clayton. Hey, and we're glad to hear a guy. We have a connection from out in LA that is from the Midwest. Another Midwest guy out there. I love that. Clayton, thank you again, man. Have a good one.
All right, you too. Thank you.
That was great. We have a friend in LA. Hold on.
We do, and I kind of.
We can unplug here. All right.
We can't
unplug the mic. All right, so they can and then unmute yourself. So let's talk to the speaker.
It might be a little what's it called, bounce back, but it got me thinking of La La Land. I know I'm not the movie guy asked, but that's someone who's trying to get into movies. And it seemed like he works with some up and coming actresses. People who are trying to get in. And I thought it was interesting. He said, a lot of stuff was interesting, but that he said that what, you want him to mute it? What do you want him to do?
Yeah, because you're right about the bounce back.
Well, I thought it was interesting how he was saying that the ego thing. How they might give you $1 million, but sometimes he doesn't want to work with that person who's all that.
And I feel like that might be one of the things of the many variables of why these child actors can't get up from their stardom. Whether it is they're too known to be that character, they hated acting, maybe they got that ego.
And I think that's a lesson that we can all take. You know, as we move, because remember what he said, it's a business. You are your own business. And
You are.
you know, if there's one, and I think I'm starting to understand now why my mom wanted to own her own business, because she wanted to pick, she wants her list of clients that comes in. She wants to be able to have that ability to say yes or no.
Be in charge.
Yes, and that comes with I think that teaches someone kind of self-respect for yourself, self-respect for yourself,
Self-respect, yeah.
and that right there, and that's exactly why you want to own your own business, because it's your own business. You have respect for what you do. You know your talents and how well you are at them, and you're not going to let someone with a big ego, because that's against your principle. You wouldn't want to coach someone like that. Well, you don't have to. You know why? Because that's Giltner Creative Productions LLC.
He can
That's
do what he
Renee's
wants.
Hair and Nail Salon.
Exactly, you're right. And he was bringing back movies to sports, but I feel like the stuff he was saying was just with anything of any craft you want to master, whether it's your own craft, whatever you want to do, right? He said, just do it for
Just do
acting. If you want to get into acting, start now. So whatever you want to do, if you want to get into haircutting, start now.
Boom. Oh yeah, no better time.
Exactly.
Yeah. You want to get into co-hosting the late night show? You got to start
We're
hosting your own
starting
show.
Late night coffee, I don't know. But and what he said, the differences with American films, how we like seeing people's heads blown off. The first two things I thought of was the Terminator series and what is it called? The Die Hard series, right?
Yeah.
These are series of people, their heads are getting blown off. But then he was saying in Germany or in France, all they do is show nudity. But here, and how many times did my parents try to cover my eyes when there was nudity? But France, they're going to cover your eyes when the head gets chopped off. They don't care about the nudity, but the difference in culture and how he said the storytelling. I think it all goes back to culture and all that. And,
culture.
pretty cool. We got to check out some of his stuff. I know you watched his film and you liked it. So
It was a really good film. I thought, the challenges of having the film during a pandemic. You heard what he said. He said that they had to send each of the actors. All right, you got to be an actor and a director and a set designer today. And he had to send. And as the owner, it's a teacher. You got to have it. You got to plan out everything ahead of time for them. So when you send that out, they have an idea of what they're doing.
it was a film about a pandemic made during another pandemic.
I think it was excellent.
That's cool.
And that's why I thought was really cool about it, because like I said, he was planning on doing it before the pandemic even started. Now he ended up having to film it during the pandemic.
And he still got it going, even though, and that's another message.
Cousin Steffi wants us to come out and host a show on the beach.
One of our biggest.
Armand on the beach is real.
Armand on the beach.
Take
Wow,
Armand to
back
the beach.
back in the day, Armand on the beach. Wow.
You get
If only Nico was here. Nico was, I think, the biggest fan of Armand.
I showed-
I'll say that.
it was a good show.
Nico was number one.
Armand on the beach. Well, Friday, Chiefs. We'll talk some Chiefs.
Sure, it's getting close.
I'll try. We'll see if we can get us a Chiefs guy on. I'm hoping I'm gonna slide into someone's DMs this afternoon and see if they want to come on and talk some mock draft. But other than that, we'll just plan on being back on Friday with another editions of Coffee's On. It was a good day.
It was. We had a good show. We talked for an hour and then we interviewed for an hour. So
My phone isn't as dead as it would be. That's all good. All right. Oh, here we go. It's time for lunch. Oh, everyone, thank you for coming in. Thank you for tuning and staying. We averaged like 9 to 10, 12 viewers for
That's good.
2 hours.
that's good.
You guys are awesome. You guys are the best. If you have any more, if you guys have any topics that you want to talk about and you want me to slide into someone's DMs to see if we can get them on the show, or if you want to come on the show and talk about your passions, that's exactly what just happened here.
That's what Coffee's On
That's
is.
what it's all about. We bring
It's our passions. We love talking about sports because, I mean, personally, I suck at sports.
Yeah.
But we love talking about sports. But more importantly, it's the passions, movies, sports.
What I'm saying is
food.
we love talking about passions, but I think
With
also
other
one of our
passionate
I
people.
think one of our things is one of our passions is hearing other people's passions.
Yes, that's
So,
probably our biggest passion.
You know, it's if you guys, it's like the Diamond guys. They're
Diamond Dogs.
Diamond Dogs. The Diamond Dogs. But yeah, that would be that's what we want to do. You guys got something passionate to talk about? Slide into the coffeesonkansas@gmail.com email, and we'll get you on because screw it. We just want to hear some people's passions.
Yeah,
we're stuck inside.
We're stuck inside. We're gonna make some lunch and
Cousin Steffi making us think. What do we do when we don't do this?
cousin Steffi. Cousin Steffi's. It's her birthday, so she's all.
I know
I don't know
she's
how
gonna
to
go.
put it.
She's gonna go. She's treating herself today.
She's
She said
thinking
she was on the
wise.
car. She's moving on the car now. She took coffees on in the car.
Wow, coffee's on.
Mom's
the
texting
road.
me. Mom's texting me. There we go. All right. Well, my friend,
Yeah, let's check
we
our
have, to,
phones.
we have to leave the studio,
Let's have
but
a day. Leaving the studio. Make sure Williams Osaka.
yeah, 9:00 tonight.
I'm telling you, it's gonna be I'll say any sports fan. I think you should watch that.
Yes,
I truly think
Don't-
so.
watch your movie and TV during the afternoon.
Watch
That's
some
what I'm
movie.
about to do.
Yeah.
You know what,
Wow.
Raj? Nadal
No.
shouldn't have lost, but whatever, it's fine. I'm good on that.
I actually
not-
don't think Karatsev beat Nadal. I think Karatsev is playing, however you say it, is playing Djokovic. Nadal lost to the Greek guy, Sissipas. I don't know how to say his name, but he had an extra day off because his last match was a whatever it's called, a walkover. Guess the guy was injured, so he had an extra day to rest and come back from that 2-0 down from 2-0 sets or whatever it is. But I think of the big three, one thing, Nadal, Djokovic, Federer. Federer's being smart, not playing every major. Nadal is playing every major, and I wonder how that's hurting him. While Djokovic is trying to get that record.
Nadal plays every match like how we answer every question because we will leave no question unanswered.
No question unanswered.
In a world where there's ice and questions to be answered,
And the court.
there's only one stream that can do that for you. 2 men. We will look up the answer if we have
Cups
to.
of coffee.
Live from Studio 16.
Coffee's on.
I love it. Friday, 10 a.m. 10
10 a.m.
See you guys.